and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mark, Straight Talk Across the Narrows. This is your host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis, and host of this show for quite some time now. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, those who are listening online, those who are listening via Facebook Live, those who are listening via the YouTube, those who are doing it the old-fashioned way and listening on 860 AM. This is Von Radio, the voice of Nevis. I almost said the voice of the Caribbean, because we are the Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio 860 on your AM dial. And we're here every Wednesday from 8 to 10 with matters that we feel are of some interest to you. It is not an easy thing coming every week, but we've been coming every week now for well over 15 years. And so we get A+ for longevity. Let me at the top of the show thank the law firm of Daniel Brantley. They have made this show possible all of these years, and through their sponsorship we have not had the need to seek sponsorship or advertising, and that has allowed us to do this show commercial free. It is still the only commercial free show of its kind, primetime radio show in the entire Federation. For that, we're truly grateful. We feel that we are doing our part to maintain freedom of speech in this country, which is of course one of the building blocks of a strong democracy. We start the show this evening on a very sad note. We have learned of the passing of our beloved teacher, educator, Jennifer Hodge. Jennifer is also the sister of our own Weber Herbert here at VON Radio, the manager here of many years, the man who started it all from the time he was a youth to now he is a little less youthful. And Jennifer would have taught so many of us, including myself. We have had, she and I, a wonderful relationship over the years, and I believe that all of us have been shocked to hear of her passing. I would ask that all of us remember her in our prayers, that we remember especially her daughter and the loved ones left behind, Webo and the entire family, my great friend and brother Mikhail, all of the family members, that we would remember them in our prayers and seek through our prayers to comfort them in this very difficult time, no doubt, for them. We understand that death awaits us all. That certainty is something that all of us must face at some point in time. But when it comes suddenly, as it appears to have come for Jennifer, it really leaves us very little time to prepare. And so I want, on behalf of my family and myself, on behalf of the Nevis Island administration and our cabinet, to extend deepest condolences to the family of our beloved educator, Jennifer Hodge. She would have contributed immensely to education and to the life and times and growth on this beautiful island of Nevis. And I ask all of us to pray for her family and her friends, that they may be comforted in this very difficult time. I've had the opportunity to speak to my brother Webo, and I hope, if he's listening, that he would know that we all mourn with him and his family, and that we certainly hope that with time the pain may ease a bit. And so our deepest condolences on the passing of who is, in my view, truly an iconic Nevisian woman, Jennifer Hodge. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot that is happening, and I would just like to say that sometimes I come on the show, at the top of the show, I always like to deal with if there's a death or tragedy, if there's a difficulty, or for that matter, if there's some celebration, I deal with that at the top of the show. Sometimes I get a little backlash because people say, oh, you didn't mention this or you didn't mention that, and sometimes it's because I did not have the information at the time. So let me just say that if there are others out there who are also mourning, who have lost loved ones, please accept my condolences. If there are those who might be hospitalized or sick in some way, those who are suffering, those who are infirm in spirit, I pray for you, and I ask others to pray for you, and that you may find comfort in God's everlasting arms. We all must realize, I think, at some point, that ultimately it is to God that we must turn. I've been having some very interesting conversations with some very interesting people, many of whom say there is no God. But I believe in that old saying that only a fool says there is no God. And how could we say there is no God when we wake up and we see God all around us? We get up in the mornings We breathe the fresh air. We see the sun rise. We see the sun set in the evenings. We are alive. And as I heard somebody say recently, if you feel that it is your alarm clock that wakes you up in the morning, then put an alarm clock next to a dead body and see what happens. The truth is that we wake each day through the grace of God. And so I think that we ought to remember that. And oftentimes when we're in despair, that is where we should find our strength and our courage. So if there are others out there who are struggling in some way, please know that our thoughts and prayers are with you as well. Let me move on from that perhaps somber note, just to say how proud I am of the many, many accomplishments that we are realizing here on the island of Nevis. We would have last weekend had the 10th anniversary of our Mango Festival. The Mango Festival was an initiative introduced under my term as Minister of Tourism. It was and still is one of the major initiatives introduced in the last 10 years here on the island of Nevis insofar as tourism is concerned. The purpose behind it was to create an event that will attract people to the island and attract activity in what has traditionally been what we call our off-season. That is a time during the summer when we are in the hurricane season 1 and 2. North America and Europe, where we look to for most of our guests, they are now warm, and so people are not traveling to escape the winter blues. And so we introduced this, and I want to publicly give credit to Mr. Greg Phillip, the former CEO of the Nevis Tourism Authority, and his team, because they were the ones who spearheaded that initial effort. And it started out from scratch. I believe we used to be over at Wally, someplace over there. And eventually, after this government had the vision to execute on the dream of Malcolm Gishard to have the park done at Pinnes, we moved the event there. Last year, the 9th staging, we had some hiccups. The hiccups were in a way good. The reason I say they were good because they came about because the marketing was so effective last year that the event was eventually oversold. The hiccups were bad. And I say that because as a result of it being oversold, we ran out of food, we ran out of water, etc. And so some people complained bitterly about that. We took note. This year we brought on a consultant in the person of Noah Mills, and Noah worked with the team, and I for the first time immersed myself in a very real way in the planning and the preparation for this event. We had numerous meetings via Zoom and in person, and I really want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the chair of the board, Pam Martin, to the CEO, Devon Liberd, to the marketing manager, who's Mr. Fayon Jones, to Noah Mills, who came in as a consultant. But I also want to give credit and say thank you to the team at the NTA, to the other board members of the NTA, and also to the team at the Ministry of Tourism who assisted, and to all the army of volunteers who stepped up and came forward. I have not heard a single bad review about this Mango Festival that just concluded. We started on Thursday at the Botanical Gardens with the grand opening. We had a celebrity chef, St. Lucian Sean Benjamin, who has a restaurant in Brooklyn called Fat Fowl. And Sean came and he was absolutely excellent. He had a chef master class at the Botanical Gardens after the opening. And then the day following, it was time for everyone to go to the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard for a day of fun there, mango eating, mango stoning, tug of war. I'm told people had a wonderful time. It also allowed us an opportunity to showcase a signature project of this government, which is the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard. And by all accounts, persons who attended were amazed. They would then have left there, and where did they end up? They ended up at Pinnes. Now I just want those who have not yet visited, those who might be in St. Kitts, those who are overseas, to know that we have now completed the second phase of the Pinnes Park project. We would have opened what we refer to as the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, naming it for the person whose vision it was to secure those lands for a national park. And we have since gone further and have sought now to improve the facilities on the ocean side of that venue. We now have, by my tally, 8 restaurants and bars in that area. We've added parking, improved sewage and drainage, added lighting and security, created bathroom facilities and changing facilities for the public. We've also created security rooms and safety and security protocols there. We've landscaped the area, and I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we have created at Pinnies a masterpiece. And so, on Friday after the Indian Castle Fruit Orchard, persons then went for what they call a bar crawl right there at Pinnies. And by all accounts, it was absolutely fantastic. People again were raving about the facility, which incidentally we pushed hard to have opened and ready in time for that event. There are still some minor works to be done, but all of the major works are done. So this is another project that we have delivered and delivered on time. We delivered the first phase, the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. We have now delivered the second phase, which is the enhancements at Pinnies. And if you have not seen it, you must go and see it for yourself. We've improved the road network. We've improved the parking. We've done all that is necessary there to create a first-class venue. I can't but thank Guangzhou Construction, who did the work, Michael Perkins, who was our supervisor and with whom I was in touch almost on a weekly basis, who guided that project to where it is now, and of course our friends from the Republic of China, Taiwan, who provided financing for that project. And so that project was principally financed by the government and people of Taiwan. And I had recent occasion to travel there to Taiwan and thank them again for their generosity in creating that for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis right here at Pinnies Beach. And so if you have not gone, you need to go. But going back to the Mango Festival, it ended there. On the following day, which was a Saturday, they then had what they call a restaurant crawl around the island, where they went into every parish, into some small, some may call out of the way, some may call mom and pop establishments. And so they would have gone up into Barnsgut, into Cotton Ground, into Fountain. They would have gone, of course, over to Butler's. They would have gone up there in Gingerland. They would have come down into St. John's. They went everywhere. And by all accounts, persons had a wonderful time. Some drove their own vehicles. Others took the safari. And they went on what they call an excursion, where they had a passport. Imagine you had a mango passport that entitled you to go from place to place and to sample the various delicacies. I want to commend all of our restaurant operators in the villages and in the communities. I talk about them all the time because on Saturdays, those who know me know that that is my favorite pastime, going into the various communities, sampling the cuisine and what they have to offer. I want to also send a shout out to Cabo there in Fountain, and you may ask me why. And the reason really is that Cabo and I have had a special relationship since I was a boy in school, and the first time I went to Fountain. And despite the fact that he and I can't seem to be able to agree on the politics, he and I have remained in that relationship for a very long time. And he reached out to me. He indicated to me that he was delighted that he was involved and that he had an excellent time. And that is what I feel. The reason why I mention Cabo is because I think I can say with some degree of confidence that Cabo is a staunch supporter of the NRP, and therefore by definition a staunch opponent of my party, the CCM. But that one did not stop us when we were planning to include Cabo and others who are also non-supporters of our team. But it also did not stop Cabo and others from participating, because they recognize that this is about Nevis, not about party, but about Nevis. And so I want to celebrate all of those who were involved, because the reports were excellent. I had friends here from Anguilla. I had people from Statia, even some family members. We had people from Trinidad and Tobago, from Grenada, from Barbados. We had persons from as far away as Australia. I met a gentleman who was from Poland. They were all here for the Mango Festival. And they went around and they had a wonderful time. In fact, I got a note from someone who said that they'd been coming to Nevis for many years. But what they loved about that food tour, it took them up into the villages, into the crooks and crannies, into the byways of the island, where they had never seen before. You see, some people come and they just stick with the main hotels and main restaurants, and we know them all, and there are many. But to go into the little byways, to the little backyard type, little cherry tree up in Barnsgut, those were the types of places. H&M seafood right in the cotton ground at 5 Turning, those were the types of places that we decided to highlight, and people loved it. And I just want to say a word about the execution, a word about the planning. I want our people to understand that at core, this CCM-led administration is about our people. We for many years have had as our underlying ethos and philosophy that our people matter most. Not some of our people, as some like to allege, but all of our people matter most. And some might have felt, why don't you do this Mango Festival and just focus on the Four Seasons and the Montpellier and Golden Rock and, you know, the big restaurants, the Bananas and L'Escale and Luna, and that no doubt would have been fine. But we understand what community tourism looks like. We understand the need to involve the entire community in our tourism product. And we understand that people who come want what I would refer to as an authentic experience. There's nothing quite like sitting on a stone up by bit in Barnsgut and eating Johnny cake and fried fish that just came off the stove. There's nothing quite like going by Big Six and seeing the guys and sitting down and having a chat while you eat some barbecued pork that Humpy just produced. When you go around Nevis and you see whether it's Esme, Little Cherry Tree, H&M, Cabo, I mean, what could be better than going by Cabo on a Saturday and having some goat water? The reality is that we have these gems all across Nevis. In every village you find them. And what we did in planning this event was to insist that all of them, you see, we went to every parish in Nevis. We circumnavigated all of the island. We started in town by pass, and then we went from place to place, and we ended at Rosie's Patties right there in Prospect. It exposed our people, many of them small business people, to the potential to earn and to be a part of the tourism product. And the patrons loved it. Their response was overwhelming. And then, as we left the Saturday, all eyes turned to the grand finale on Sunday at the MGR Park. And I can tell you, the event delivered. There were hiccups, there were difficulties, but they were overcome seamlessly. And I saw the NTA staff there working. They worked selling tickets, they worked in the bar, they worked doing all kinds of things. They got their hands dirty, they rolled up their sleeves, they got to work. And there is not enough commendation that I can give to them, to their leadership, and to the entire team. To the Army of Volunteers, thank you. Last year, because of the hiccups, we knew that we had to exceed expectations this year, and we did just that. I want to thank Prime Minister Drew, Deputy Prime Minister Hanley, Minister Samuel Duggins, all of them who came over, Minister Aislinn Phillip, and of course our team here on Nevis as well, all of our cabinet colleagues who lent their support to this event, and the wonderful brothers and sisters from St. Kitts who came in large numbers to be a part of the event. Now I am waiting for the post-mortem to happen. I am waiting to get a report in terms of the financial aspects, but I do believe that by any measure the 10th anniversary of the Mango Fest was a resounding success. And I can only look at what has become now our media source, which is Facebook, and see all the photos and all the praise that is pouring in. Persons who are saying what a delight it was to have so many chefs showing their talent. We had over 50 chefs on the grounds on that day, and persons were saying that all into the night, late into the night, they were still eating, still grazing, they still had food. We had a VIP area where we had 2 dedicated chefs and a top shelf bar, mostly for sponsors. And then we had, at the end of it, to cap it all off, a concert that I believe they call the Mango Concert or something like that, but it featured all Nevisian artists, Nevisian bands, local bands and local artists. When I say Nevisian, let me not say that St. Kitts Nevis. Local bands, local artists. The headliners were Denise Gordon, our famous jazz and blues performer, and our own Abena Amri, the daughter of our former premier, Vance Amri of blessed memory. And again, persons commented of what a fitting end it was to truly a fantastic evening. You know, sometimes as we thank and we praise everyone, we forget to thank God. And I want to thank God tonight for the success of that event. And I say it because I ought to say it generally, but I say it more specifically here, because on Monday morning the heavens opened up and it rained hard for most of Monday. And I reflected, had the heavens opened up on Sunday, that would have been it for the Mango Festival. Instead, the good Lord gave us perfect weather on Sunday, allowed us to have the perfect end to the 10th anniversary of the Mango Festival, and then he brought the rains the day after. We must say thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we had a wonderful Mango Fest. You know how I know that the Mango Fest was so good? Not even the NRP found reason to criticize. And you know they criticize everything. They could not criticize anything. In fact, I saw a few of them say openly what a great event it was. And I am grateful for that. It is an opportunity, yet again, to demonstrate to the world that our people are competent, our people are capable, and our people, if trusted to deliver, can deliver. And so I want to thank them all. I want to thank Noah for his ideas and the energy that he brought. I want to thank Feon. I want to thank Devon, the entire team. It was a team effort. We worked together, bounced ideas off, agreed to some things, disagreed with other things, but at the end of the day, the proof of the pudding, they say, is in the eating. And I'm truly, truly happy that we had such a wonderful event, and we now look forward next year to making it even bigger. I had many compliments on that day as I walked around the grounds at Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. But perhaps the greatest compliment that I had was when I encountered a couple from Anguilla. And the gentleman said to me that he had been coming to Nevis. The last visit, he said, was 7 years ago. And he said he was absolutely shocked at what he was seeing in Nevis. He had no idea of the development and the strides that Nevis had made in those 7 years. He said he had rented a car and they drove around. He commented and marveled at the quality of our roads, the quality of our infrastructure. He was blown away by the Malcolm Gishard Park and the now finished area there at Pinnis. He just could not believe it. In fact, he said to me that the MJR Park was the perfect location for a major concert. And he asked whether or not we would be minded to have something like the Sinkis Music Festival over here, because we had such a ready-made venue for it. Interesting, because again, this was a vision that was executed by this government. I said to someone, with all the hubbub, noise and fury that we hear sometimes, with all the negativity that we hear every day, very rarely do we hear the sounds of positivity about what is happening. In fact, sometimes it is those who are coming in from outside who we have to rely on to say, look at the improvements that Nevis has had. Nevis right now is shining. And I don't just say that because I happen to be the leader at this point in our history. I say that because it is true. Nevis is shining. Yes, we have problems. Everywhere has problems. But the developmental strides that we've made on this island in the last decade and a half have been nothing short of phenomenal. Roads, buildings, housing, water, education, healthcare, in every aspect, in every facet of development, Nevis is shining. And yes, the naysayers can always find a pothole somewhere to take a picture of and post. That is always true. You could always find a window here on a building that needs a hinge repaired or some paint applied. That is true. But in the main, we have transformed this island, and this island has been undergoing a transformation for all who have eyes to see. And so what we had coming together for the Mango Fest is good planning, good execution, local talent on display, and a venue that was purpose built and created by this government for events such as those. I do not yet have the numbers for the first half of this year, but I can tell you that based on recollection last year, that MJR Park, particularly the visitor center area where we're having conferences and weddings and all kinds of events now, dinners, fetes, parties, that venue was booked, I believe, if my memory serves, 289 days out of the year last year. And I believe it will probably be more this year. That venue is in so much demand on Nevis that even the government that it belongs to can't get it most times that we want to have an event there. Because every date you ask for, oh, that's taken, that's booked already. When even the Four Seasons is using it now for their staff events. Churches are using it. Weddings, people are having their weddings and wedding receptions. We are doing so much there. It just again speaks to the vision. When the government has vision and the government executes that vision, it benefits the people. And every single person who has an event at the MJR Park should consider that they're able to have that event because of that investment that has been made. You see, oftentimes as government we make investments and the critics come out. Oh, you do that for, oh, this and oh, that. You all remember the criticisms for the water taxi pier? You go over there now, you see such a beautiful structure, beautiful reception area. Taxis are lined up, orderly. Traffic is flowing, business is flowing. And as one taxi driver said to me just last night, the people that he sees using it daily were some of the harshest critics of that initiative. But sometimes you have to put your hands over your ears, focus in a laser-like way, and continue the work Because if you kick at every barking dog, you will never get up the hill. So you build it. And after you build it now, you see them in the stockings and high heels using it. But they went out and campaigned against it and say it shouldn't happen. You build the Mondo track, they said it will be infested with flies from the dump, and the Mondo track, it shouldn't be done, and this and that and the Tara. Well, it is there now, and it is serving the people of Nevis, and our athletes are using it to their benefit. We build the MGR Park. All that money could have been used for different things, but the most used facility in the Federation right now is the MGR Park. The most in-demand facility. In fact, we're going to have the Tropics Fete that's happening there this year again during Culturama. I want to thank Cane Juice, I think they're called, and the entire team, because they've decided they want to partner with Nevis and bring that event there, which we know is going to attract thousands of people this year. We have a venue there now that could handle a major music festival, built by a government with vision. You know, when we approach a Taiwanese and we ask them for money, we could have asked them for money for many things. And of course, it is for a government to decide what they may wish to prioritize. And somebody said to me, Premier, you made an unusual choice because you decided to prioritize something that is almost intangible. Person's peace of mind and leisure. An area where people can go to and relax after a long day at work and take the children and have a picnic. And we never had that in Nevis. In fact, we never really had it in the Federation. And so they said, you know, most people would have preferred a building, a road, something so, and maybe even put your name on it. But instead we opted for a facility like the MGR Park. And we are seeing the rewards, the exponential returns on that investment. And that is why when we went back to Taiwan and we say, hey, could you assist us further to bring the beach area now up to standard? They responded positively. And the result now is that we have, I believe, the finest facility in the Federation and one of the finest in the region. I have predicted, and I hope that my prediction comes true, that MGR Park and Pinnies will become the premier go-to destination in the country for dining, for leisure, for families, for parties, for bars, for friends to get together. I see people going there on Friday afternoons to congregate, to meet and greet, to take their friends, visiting family. I see tourists and guests coming in, going there, because we have created now the ambience, the environment, the amenities that people will feel comfortable. And I am very proud of that project. If you have not gone, please go and see for yourself. And we're not quite done. As I said, we have some little touches here and there. But I believe that you'll be pleased with what you see. We are putting in another boardwalk. One is already done. Putting in another one. And we hope to be able to open everything very soon. We did not open yet the public bathrooms, etc., because we are waiting for some, I'm told, some of the toilets and sinks and that kind of thing had not yet arrived. But we expect those very shortly. We have had a complaint up in the main park about a splash pad for the kids and an issue with some lighting. But we can assure you that those are being addressed. In fact, I'm told that a technician is coming all the way from Taiwan to sort those out, and we expect therefore that during Culturama we'll be back in full swing. Now, as I mentioned, Culturama. This year we're celebrating 50 years of Culturama. 50 years ago, NIDACs decided to come together. They were led by Calvin Cabo Howell and his team, and they came together, and through their efforts we now have Culturama. 50 years later, we are in a very real way standing on the shoulders of those who had this original idea. We have decided for the 50th anniversary to invest, and to invest quite heavily. What are we investing in? The cultural village, the cultural complex, NEPAC. These are the venues for various cultural and performing arts. And this is an investment I want our people to understand, which is in our creative economy. When we are done, again, Nevis will have the finest facilities in the country for entertainment, for performances, for concerts, for shows, for entertainment. At NEPAC, we hope to see a revival of our local theatre, which is already happening, and we hope to see plays being performed at NEPAC, concerts and recitals being performed at NEPAC. We hope at our cultural village that our local entrepreneurs will step up, rent the village, have your concerts, have your visiting artists. It's available to you. At the cultural complex, we hope to see more shows happening, again available to you. People may look at these and think that there's somehow random spending. There's nothing random about this government, despite what the naysayers may say. We are systematically building out this island, and we're doing so in a very deliberate way. These investments that we're making, again, courtesy of the government and people of Taiwan. We are making because we want to see the creative economy emerge. We have twinned this 50th anniversary of Culturama with our homecoming celebration. And so we are expecting our people to come home from Anguilla, from St. Kitts to come over, from St. Martin, the USVI, the BVI, Puerto Rico, to come from Jamaica and Barbados and Trinidad, to come home from the United States and Canada and the United Kingdom, to come home from Bermuda and wherever they may be, to come home to have their family reunions. And already, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hearing about the various reunions that they're having. Families are having reunions. Some classes, school classes, are having reunions. Some villages, I'm told, are having reunions. And we want, as it's our custom, when our friends and family come to visit, that they see Nevis at its best. And so you will notice that we have been sprucing up. That's a local term we use, the island. We went so far as to offer concessions to persons, to say, if you want to paint up your home, paint up your business place, etc., we're going to give you duty free on the materials. And some have responded positively to that. We have said to the guest houses, if you want to change out your furniture and improve, again, we will offer you duty free, and some have responded positively to that. Truth is that we have been very deliberate in what we are doing. And we are expecting that in 2 weeks' time, this island will be full of people. And that will continue throughout the Culturama season. And we are hoping that God will spare us the ravages of storms and keep us with fair weather, and that we will be spared any disruptions from careless or criminal activity. We continue to invite people to party, but to do so responsibly, to not drink and drive and not speed on our roads. One of the dangers we've observed of fixing roads and giving people beautifully paved roads is that they tend to speed. We're asking you not to do so. The life you save might be your own. And so I had occasion to visit the venues, and I am thoroughly impressed. And I believe that you, the general public, will also be thoroughly impressed at what we have done in your name and for your benefit. Today, and I will make this last point and then open the lines. I was invited by the Honorable Eric Evelyn to accompany him to a very brief ceremony in Barnescott at the Barnescott Community Center. And there we had a beautiful lady. I hope she understands that I am not being in any way facetious when I say that. She's beautiful physically, but also beautiful in terms of her spirit. And that is Miss Andrews. And she was there because it was her idea and collaboration when we met. And I want the people, especially those overseas and those here as well, to understand that it is said that many who perished during the Christina disaster, that terrible marine disaster that we had in 1970, that many who perished could not swim. And since then it has got progressively worse. We are in many ways an enigma, because we are an island surrounded by water where most of the population cannot swim. It is a most unusual phenomenon. But I think deep inside our psyche is still that trauma of the MV Christina. And I know, certainly speaking for myself, when I was a boy in Hanley's Road, my mother used to drill it into my head. Mark, do not go down there to Black Bay. Mark, stay out of Indian Castle, because you're going to drown. And so a lot of us grew up with a fear of the ocean. And so in meeting with Miss Andrews, I said to her, can we find a way to start to fix that? And you see, a lot of things that we do as government, they're not necessarily up in lights and they don't necessarily grab headlines. But even the longest journey must start with the first step. You see, today we are celebrating 50 years of Culturama. You think 50 years ago, Cabba Howell and Irma Johnson and Lyra Richards and Boots and Floyd Robinson and all of these people, you think they knew where we were going? Lita Anslin? Did they know 50 years ago that 50 years later we'll be having this grand celebration? Every great idea, every great event. You think Malcolm Gishard, as visionary as he was, knew what we would have created at Pinnies? He reserved the land, to be sure. He wanted us to have a park, to be sure. But you think he knew what would have been done there in his name and to his honor? Things start with an idea, and then you make first steps. And that is why I want to commend so highly Miss Andrews, because she and I spoke, and I said to her, I am not happy with the situation where our people can't swim. It is not a good reflection of us as island people. And besides, swimming is excellent for exercise, and swimming can save your life. And so we set about starting to try to teach people how to swim. And she leveraged her connections and contacts. And the only thing that we were asked to contribute as government is sometimes airplane tickets. She has brought on board partners, Four Seasons, various hotels, restaurants. They've all come on board. And we have now moved from just teaching people how to swim, that we're now offering master classes in what they call in water safety. So all aspects of rescue, CPR, you name it, are now being offered here. And today, as the experts spoke at that ceremony, They spoke about the fact that when they started just 3 years ago, they started with 10 participants. Now they have over 200 participants in their programs. They're now doing 9 different sessions per year and have now been able this year to reach over 200 persons. It has been so exciting and infectious that our sister St. Kitts has put up its hand and said, hey, we want to be involved as well. And so what started here now includes St. Kitts. And I want to thank the Maritime Division, I want to thank the Coast Guard, because they've all come on board. And the objective is to teach our people to swim, to teach them water safety. And as the point was made, any time that man is involved with any activity, there will be accidents. We pray that there won't be, but that is why people get insurance, because while we pray that there won't be, we try to prepare if they are. And so with all the boats going back and forth, the ocean being temperamental as it is, from time to time we expect that something might happen, and we want our people to be prepared. If somebody were to fall down, will there be people in the crowd who know CPR can administer? Because those few first seconds might be the difference between life and death. If you're out on a boat and somebody were to fall over, well, who can rescue them if nobody on the boat could swim? Or even if they can swim, who would rescue them if they don't know how to participate and do the necessary? If they went on, then you pull them up and they have water in their lungs, in their system, how do you get that out? How do you get them breathing again? All of these are issues. And so I say all this to say that again, what started out as an idea and a few tentative steps 3 years ago, we are now in a position where today we were there and we saw a wide cross section of individuals, adults and youth. We saw Department of Education, Department of Youth and Sports, Marine Division. All of them are involved. And today I was told that the cohort that were in Barnsgut, that was only a small part. There was another cohort down on the beach in Jessops. And we are training people. We're training our lifeguards. We're offering training to all of our ferry operators. Anybody out there on the sea, our fishermen, we're offering training. And I say all this because a lot of this may be happening unnoticed. But again, it goes to the deliberate policy actions that the government has been taking as we build out Nevis. And so it is our dream that in 5-10 years time, most of us now will know how to swim. Most of us will have a working knowledge of CPR and how to resuscitate somebody. Most of us will therefore become more useful as citizens in the community. And we never know. At church, somebody's choking. At a restaurant, how do you respond? These are some of the lessons that we are now mainstreaming through our society. And the ability to swim and safety on the water seem to be just natural, almost intuitive for people who are island people surrounded by water. And so I want to thank Miss Andrews publicly. I want to thank the Honorable Eric Evelyn, because he was the Minister of Sport when the Swim to Win initiative was started. But again, as I said, sometimes we forget where things start. We only know now that it's going, the train is moving and we're on the train. But we forget the people who designed the train and designed the tracks and trained the train driver so that the train could move. What we're building today, ladies and gentlemen, the idea is MGR Park, water taxi, Mondo Track, investment in water, investment in healthcare. This is not necessarily for us. This is being done in the hope that in 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, our people will look back and say, wow, the groundwork was laid. The ideas and the vision, just like Nidax, just like Malcolm, that those were laid. And here we are now, decades later, benefiting from that vision. You see, the Mango Festival started out this size. 10 years later, it is this size and being talked about. Everybody now wants to get on board. And I'm grateful for that, because success attracts success. Excellence is contagious, and people want to associate themselves with anything that is successful. And so I already got a call from a good friend in Canada who says that there is a chef there, a celebrity chef, who takes other chefs around the world and they want to be part of the Mango Festival. You see how things work? And that they have a following. So we can expect in future that that Mango Festival is going to grow and grow. It's going to become a first-class international event, attracting foodies and chefs from around the world. That is the vision. And 20, 30 years from now, when the Mango Fest is the biggest thing in the region, filling up hotel rooms and villas and the like, I would want our people to remember that that idea started out small. But because the government had vision, we kept at it. We worked it. We created a venue where we could have it. And this year, we saw the fruits of our labor. This, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, is what good government is about. Where you can now start to see how the strands are connected. What we're trying to do here and there. When we went around and we put up all these storage tanks for water around the island. Then we went and we did all this digging up over the whole of Nevis, laying new lines, replacing old iron pipes and using modern polyurethane pipes, bigger pipes to remove water pressure issues around the island. Nevis now has one of the best water distribution systems in the region. And I say that with no water in my mouth. Now we're going to the final phase, which is to find more water. Desalination, small effort that we're doing there, already under construction in St. James, and more drilling that we expect this Trinidadian company to do for us. Sequential, organized, and deliberate steps. There are some who don't understand. And sometimes when people don't understand, and sometimes too, even if they understand, they're so negative that they jump and they start to find something negative to say. But I want our people to understand that when we sit down as a cabinet, as we did today, and we plan, and we execute, and we say this is the direction, we may not get there right away. We understand we have limitations in terms of resources. But I want you to look at those projects that we have prioritized. Look at the development that has happened. Who can say that that water taxi has not contributed immeasurably to the island of Nevis? People now jump on a water taxi. It's taken for granted. But if it wasn't for Alexis Jeffers, could it happen? If he had not been the driving force behind it, could it have happened? Ask yourself that question. Now you go over and you're in the AC there in the visitor center and you take the boat and and you wonder, wasn't it always so? The answer is no, it wasn't always so. And in fact, if some had their way, it would not have happened because the criticism was so great. But we did it. the MGR Park, the Mondo Track, Treasury Building in town, the Newcastle Police and Fire Station. All of those were projects that attracted considerable criticism. What am I do that for? The roads. People drive on roads every day and cuss the roads. Say we have spent too much money on roads. We are the government of roads. But every road you build, you could be assured people are calling you and saying they want the road too. So who do you listen to? We are executing our plan. And I believe if our people are fair and reasonable, they will say that all of those projects have been of tremendous benefit to the people of Nevis. We now take the water taxi, we don't even have a care in the world. Look at the companies that have now developed. 100% Nevision. Nevision captains, workers. Look at them, Blue Wave, Islander, and all of the others that are plying their trade back and forth. That's what good governments do. They create the infrastructure to create the opportunity for those in the private sector now to come in and benefit. And we shall continue to do that. And we shall continue to point out to the public the immense benefits of these projects. So all who want to continue to argue and cuss and carry on, that is a matter for them. But we will continue. And the success of the Mango Festival in achieving its objectives, in bringing people together, in bringing people to stay here. Heads in beds, that's the terminology. And we're able to achieve that. I say to God be the glory. And I'm hopeful that people start to recognize the vision of where we are going and what we are seeking to do. It is 2 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. I'm going to open the phones, but continue to talk while I wait for somebody to call, if anybody wants to call. But let me tell you, the phone is ringing, so let me go to the phone. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Miss Sheriff.
Good evening, my dear. I missed you last week.
Yeah, well, you know they had big graduation, you know, Miss Sheriff.
Yes.
Isaiah 53 verse 5 and 6. But he was pierced for our transgression. He was crushed for our iniquity. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wound we are healed. We all like sheep has gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Sympathy is going out to Weber and the passing of his sister. She's almost my sister too. Good night.
Good night, and thank you for that, and I hope the graduation ceremony went well. Alright, so thank you. We missed you last week, but we knew that you were at graduation, and we know how seriously you support your grandchildren. Kudos to you and to the entire family, and to all those who are having their young ones graduating. Congratulations to them. The numbers are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700, and the phones are open for those who may wish to call and be a part of the show this evening. While I wait for you to call, okay, let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Mr. Mark, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay, great. I want to be a little bit humorous this evening. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
About a week ago, I started to make a post saying that you and the PM was having a light moment.
Mm-hmm.
And in your post, you say, nobody asks you what he tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me ain't going to ask you what he tell you.
Me ain't going to tell you, so.
ask you. What you tell him?
Well, the post say nobody asks me what he tell me.
Right, so I'm asking you what you tell him.
Well, the post, me not say me tell him nothing. The post say he tell me, nobody asks me what he tell me. You know, say me say nothing, you know. Huh?
So you not say what he tell you, and you not say what you tell him?
No.
Okay, great. Okay.
It was a it was a light moment. All right. Thank you very much. So, as we wait for the phones to ring, and we hope that they continue to ring, I had occasion to speak to the owners of a team called Telemed, which is one of the contact centers that we were able to attract to Nevis. And they started just last year, and they started out with 8 employees. 8. And I remember at the time they said that, you know, it would likely to be a small operation because it's a private group, and they are offering their services only to their group. These are a large group of, I think, ear, nose and throat specialists, the largest group in Florida, that part of the United States. I was pleasantly surprised to speak to the owners just, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, and to hear that from 8 employees, they're now up to 34 employees in just about a year. And in fact, they're now looking for additional space to rent because they're growing so quickly. And I was particularly pleased when the gentleman started to tell me about how impressed he was with the staff and the people that he had been able to attract and the workers, and how incredibly talented they were. It warmed my heart. At the time we attracted that contact center, we attracted another one. That other one, called Radius, operates contact centers in Jamaica and Panama and elsewhere, and we were able to attract them here. And they're operating in Brownhill at the call center, the old call center building there. And again, I was very pleased to hear that they're now over 100 employees, and they have ambitions to be as high as 170 by this month, July, that we're in. I'm not sure if they're there yet. And then they're already talking to us about needing additional space because they hope to grow it out to well over 200 employees. The reason that I mention this is because we continue to hear the cacophony of sound and fury, the constant drumbeat of negativity. Nothing there, nothing happening, nothing to do, yada, yada, yada. But the evidence on the ground does not support that. The evidence on the ground suggests to me that young people, entrepreneurs, they're opening businesses, they're engaging themselves in activity, they're finding jobs, they're out there working. Some are choosing to work 2 and even sometimes 3 jobs. People are setting their goals, setting their ambitions and working towards them. More and more we're seeing civil servants who are now applying for permission to open their own business as well. People are investing in homes. Drive around this island, you see the level of construction activity that is going on. Nobody, and I say that with no water in my mouth, nobody is going to go build a house unless they have some confidence in the economy. Because for most of us, that will be the single largest investment that any of us will make in our lifetime, building a home or buying a home. And yet so many people are stepping up to the plate. The Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation can't keep up. Soon as they open a parcel of land and have lots, the lots are gone. 15, 20 homes, 15, 20 lots, 40, 60 applications. And our young people applying themselves. You see so many civil servants. You go to the restaurants and the bars and the hotels, and they're doing something there at nights as well, getting that second income. Those are the opportunities that Nevis now provides. Jobs are available. So when I hear the sound and fury, the constant drumbeat from the natural neighbors of negativity, and I say, where are they getting their information from? This constant effort to persuade us that all is doom and gloom in our country, that everybody here dead hungry, that everything is bad, everything is falling apart. It is not borne out by the evidence. One business operator said to me that their biggest difficulty in operating in Nevis is attracting employees. Imagine that. That is their biggest difficulty. In fact, they came because they wanted to bring some people from India to work in their business. And I asked him, well, you're looking to bring 8-10 people from India. Can't you find local people? And he said that is a problem. And he showed that he has been advertising for months. Because people have options here. We have seen a slowdown in applications to the government. Used to be that everybody is applying to come and work in government. We have said that we cannot sustain it. Our wage bill is already too high. But we've also seen a slowdown in terms of applications because people are finding meaningful work and meaningful opportunities in the private sector, as they should. As they should, because it is the private sector that must drive growth in the economy. The government must create the environment, but it is a private sector investment that we need. You go down to Pinnies. I go back to Pinnies. We are now brewing our own beer. We have a microbrewery down there, Nevis Peak Brewery and Trattoria. Foreign investment. You go down further. You have Zanzi. Foreign investment. Chills, I think it's called. Foreign investment. Turtle Time. Foreign investment. You have our own weekends, Sunshines and Lime. Those are local investors. Have a look. Look at Luna. Foreign investment. Drift. Foreign investment. Bananas. Foreign investment. Lescal. Foreign investment. Paradise Beach. All happening on Nevis. Jobs. The Four Seasons keeps telling, not the Four Seasons, I'm sorry, Social Security keeps telling us that Nevis is in the unusual position of having more jobs than workers. And so the gap, which is several hundred, is being filled up, they say, by people working multiple jobs. So when I could see a business move from 8 employees to 34 in a year. Another one in Brownhill there, they started out I think with 30. They now say they're going to be 170 by July. That is in just about the same period of time, a year and a half. And yet you hear the sound, nothing there to do and no jobs and things are so hard. When you look at our people, quality of life that they're enjoying. Now, I am not here tonight to suggest that there are not pockets of poverty in our society and that there are not some people who need a helping hand. And this government has, I believe, one of the widest, one of the broadest, one of the deepest safety net systems, social safety net systems that we've put in place. We do provide considerable assistance to persons who need that, including our recent project of providing daycare assistance to mothers who need it, to parents, let me say, who need it. But that does not represent a majority of our people. The majority of our people are doing well. They have opportunity. They're opening businesses. They're expanding their wings. Our people are now not seeing the same need to fly away to Canada and fly away to America and fly away there and fly away there. No. In fact, right now we're encouraging our people out there to come home. Come home. Especially those of you who have worked and you know are in a position to invest in a home and come home. Help us build this little island called Nevis. This country called St. Kitts and Nevis. There is opportunity in abundance here. And I continue to make that point. Because when you hear this steady diet of negativity, there may be some out there who despair and say how bad things are. But I'm going to tell you, you know what's going to happen? Let me predict it. I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not a prophet. But I'm going to predict this. People are going to start to land. Some already start to land. And the majority are going to start to land in a week, 2 weeks, for the grand homecoming celebration and for Culturama 50. Let's go to the phones. Let's take this. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hello, good night. I hear you say no good to back up with man, good thing them. Tell everybody hello, try and everybody. Good night.
Good night. How are you doing?
I go walking I hear somebody by Dexter funeral.
Oh yes, very sad.
Yeah, my training cousin. Yeah. Have a good night. Take care.
Okay, my
and
dear.
Everybody, take care.
Thank you for that.
All right, love.
All right. I love when I get these calls because they are just good people who have called over the years and continue to be a part of the show, and I'm truly grateful. I was making a point that as we look around and as we see what is happening on our island, we see the evidence all around us. And I'm prepared to make the prediction that when our people start to land, they come in at RLB or they come in over here at the airport, Van Samry. They start to drive on the roads. If they come in at RLB, they take the water taxi, they arrive at our brand new water taxi facility. They drive on the roads. They see the Mondo track. They see the MGR park. They go down Pinnies, go eat and party and enjoy themselves. They go in the village. They go in the complex. They need an MRI while they're here, they go up the hospital and get it. They need a mammogram while they're here, they go up there and get it. They get sick, we got new ambulance to send for them. They got water in their pipes. They see the quality of homes. They go over to Maddens, they go to Rice's, they go to Craddock Road, they go to Hamilton. They go over there to Chimney Crescent. They see the number of homes that are being built. Good quality homes for our people. They see the social safety nets. When they talk to their cousin who have 3 young children, the cousin say, the government is helping me with daycare. The government is helping me with uniforms. The government is helping me with some food vouchers to take care. They see the seniors program where our seniors are playing pan. Our seniors are out in the community having excursions and enjoying their senior years because we have one of the most robust senior programs in the region. When they see all that, you know what they're going to say? Somebody tell lie. Because you see, it is okay when you try to fool people, you go on the radio every day, every night, and you cuss, and you say how bad things are, oh my God, everybody down here dead or hungry. And that is the message that you keep sending out. And then when people land now, people say, oh wait, me go down a 4 seasons up here, Nevis people have got breakfast. We went to buy bananas, me see all them table up there full of Nevis people I got dinner. I see people working, hustling 2 and 3 jobs, this like New York. Or in New York, I see people that work so, hustling and making money. I see people building homes. I see the government build all them road and all the CCTV coverage and all of this that is happening. They're going to conclude somebody will tell them lie. And you see, that is now the problem. So now you hear the sound and fury. We're fixing up the complex, we're fixing up the venues. Oh, they must spend money upon them, prefer entertainment over education. They prefer entertainment over health. I simply say ignore the noise. You know why? It's the same old noise you hear for every project. Every project that we attempt to do, same old noise. And so I just ignore it. Let us stick to the plan. Let us continue to work. And I want when our people come in, that our people take a look at their country. Take a look at what we've been able to do on this island called Nevis. And make your own determination. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
No, good evening.
Yes, you're on the air. You have to move away from the phone, from the radio, please.
Thank you for your sponsorship again. Thanks to all of those guys.
You have a radio in the background. It's interfering. Could you move away or turn off the radio?
Oh, okay. No, really. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all I'm telling you, thank you for this small sponsorship that you are giving to the game, and thank you for all that you have done to us here in Nevis, and thank all those who have contributed towards sponsorship of the VPL League. On Sunday we'll have two big matches. We'll have the first match between Jets and the Bushwalkers, and the second match between Easterns and the Guyanese. I've been told that all Guyanese on the island will be at halftime on Sunday, and all of the Eastern fans and all of the Jets and Bushwalker fans will be there at halftime. So Mark, I just wanted to have a good night. You're doing a good job and continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother, and I'm happy that I could have provided a sponsorship to you. You know, it's a time of year where sponsorships are a little difficult because there's so many, but I did make that commitment, and I know you're doing good work in the community as always, in the Hard Times and Rollins community, and the fact that you're able to pull all these people together. I still have not made it yet to the matches, but God willing, I hope that I can be there on Sunday. What time we start on Sunday?
At 1:30.
1:30. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay then.
For that, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. It is now just about 18 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock based on the clock here at Von Radio, and we're taking your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you would like to be a part of this show this evening and to lend your voice to any of the matters that is being discussed or anything else that you would want to discuss. Now, since I'm going through and talking about the various things that we're doing on the island, it would not be complete if I did not mention the phenomenal, that's the word I will use, the phenomenal work that is happening at the Bath Stream. And I want to publicly commend Permanent Secretary John Hanley, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism, and Mr. Sylvester Mead, who has been the driving force behind that particular project. And to say how pleased I am because we have brought together again local people, architects, engineers, designers, local contractors to execute that particular project. When it is done, I believe again we will have a first-class venue. I believe people will even want to go there to get married and to even take photos because we are creating something that is absolutely gorgeous. We're putting in walkways, we're putting in changing rooms and bathrooms. We have place there now for staff, for security. We have a gazebo. We're cleaning out the pools as we normally do, refreshing them in some respects. We are creating parking, some parking spaces, proper lighting. We are creating a first-class facility there at the Bath Stream. Again, a vision, investment in our tourism plant, but also, as I like to say, we invest for the enjoyment of our people. If visitors come and they like it, that's a bonus. But we do it for our people. And I want you to take a walk and have a look at what is happening at Bath Stream. Now, with all the work that has happened there, again the criticisms have come. Oh, they're going to charge people money to go in there now. Oh, look what they might do. Oh. Because you see, any time you try to take a positive step forward, there are those who start to come with the criticisms and the noise and try to create anxiety in the country. There's no need. Take a look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. The people of Bath Village, my people of Bath Village, who have been with me so consistently, and that's why I said to the team, I said, listen, we must complete the road in Bath, and we have done so. You drive through Bath now. I spoke to a lady the other day who said she's from Bath, but she lived in England for 40 years. And she said she came and she got confused. She got lost in Bath. We not only upgraded the roads, we upgraded the people's properties, put in fencing for them, wall fencing, driveways, you name it. Anybody's land we touch, we try to improve by way of compensation. And now we're doing the Bath stream, the lifeblood of Bath. It runs and takes its name from Bath. And you look at it and you say, again, for those who have eyes to see, the vision is clear as to what we're trying to do. Some years ago, under the NRP administration here on the island of Nevis, we had a company, Jamaican company, called Surrey. And Surrey was invited by that government to do every single major project on the island. Every road, main road, every artery, side road, even the NIPAC building, you name it, there was only one company getting all the work. And we had local people here with their truck, with their backhoe. They were sitting down at home every day seeing the trucks and backhoes for this one company moving back and forth. We were in opposition at the time and we spoke out about it. We said that it was not a sustainable way to approach development because our own people were being left out. And even though Surrey undoubtedly brought skills to the table, that you needed our people working with them, infused with them, in order for our people to develop the skill sets. Our pleas fell on deaf ears. In fact, the then Premier, Joseph Parry, the Honorable Joseph Parry, went public and said that our young people, when they go to university and they come home, they don't know what they're doing. He said that is why he has sent public works up to Brown Pasture. He gave them a road up there to do so they can practice, learn how to drive. And that was his justification for denying our own people an opportunity in their own country. When we got into office, we said, no, if you can't have confidence in the Nevision people, then what are you doing? You're leading a people in whom you have no confidence? Well, why should I have confidence in you if you have no confidence in them? And so we said, listen, our people must be involved. And that has become our hallmark. Yes, we have brought in Surrey and other companies to do work from time to time. But the bulk of work that is being done now in Nevis is being done by our people. Our Public Works Department, our engineers. We have invested, and I want to give the Honorable Spencer Brand maximum credit because he has come to the cabinet time and time again with his vision that we must build out in terms of the equipment. So we buy a brand new paver, we buy a brand new milling machine to ensure that we have what it needs, what we need to do the roads. And I can say Butlers, Braziers, Shaw's Road, Brownhill, Hanley's Road, Bath, all major projects have been done by our Public Works Department. And I don't need to tell you about the quality. Drive on them for yourself. Designed, executed by our Public Works Department. You know how proud that makes me? You know what that says about the philosophy of government and leadership? And the difference between telling your people that they must sit at the back of the bus because they're not good enough, and telling your people you are absolutely good enough and you must be given the opportunities in your own country. The stark difference. One leader says to his people, when you come back from university, you don't know what you're doing. Go practice, learn how to drive. Another party in government says, no, our people must be given the opportunity. And you now see the difference. I'll come back after this call. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hi.
You're
Good
on
night,
the air.
Mr.
Go
Brantley.
ahead, please.
Good night. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay, great, great. So, Brantley, as I sit there and listen to you, I must say that Nevis has come a long way. Under the stewardship of the late Vance Amory and under your stewardship. Again, I said Nevis has come a long, long, long way. You are doing a great job. Pay no mind to your detractors. It doesn't matter how much good you do, Mr. Brantley. You will always get those who, criticize, and say things that doesn't make any sense. Now, Mr. Brantley, there's this guy, and I ain't gonna call you no name. It seemed to be, you see, sometimes you speculate and based on what people say, although speculation are not facts, but sometimes you have to speculate and say things. There's this guy, it seemed to me that he put some money in the last election on the NRP ticket. Because, he keeps talking about the NRP. And this man wants to see the back of the system. And, sometimes, I hear make statements, oh, if Nevis is going to go forward, you got to get rid of the system. If things going to happen, you got to get rid of the system. But truth be told, Mr. Brantley, NRP not ready. They ain't ready yet. They're far from ready. NRP is far from ready. And so it looks like the man vexed with Nevis people, who voted for you. And if he going to get vexed with people, man, get vexed with God because God put you there. God put you there, Mr. Brantley. And so, yes, you are doing a good job. Can more be done? Yes. But you are restrained, as you rightly said a little earlier on, by resources. You don't have all the resources. And so there are certain things that you will say that you will do. And it takes time. It takes time. And that is, clearly understood.
But development, Caller, anywhere in the world takes time.
Exactly.
Even in the richest countries in the world. I was just up in Canada last month sometime, and they were telling about the expansion of the highway system there, and it's been years that they've been talking about it, and now they're trying to execute. And Canada and them are rich countries.
That's right.
So anybody who figures that they snap their finger and get development doesn't understand economics, doesn't understand financing, doesn't understand government.
That's
especially
right.
Small governments where you manage. Every month that the Lord sends, we have to find on average about $10 million just to pay staff.
Right.
Every month.
Right.
So you have to deal with that first, because if you work for government, you want to know once the payday come, you have your money. Before you get now the millions that you need for roads and hospital construction and this, that, and the other. You understand? So
that's right.
When I hear people talking, people don't appear to understand. They figure, I want a road or I want this, and it happens overnight. And every country, even those with vast resources compared to us, development takes time.
That's right.
But I want our people to look. And that is why I have just named a couple of the projects. Look at what we have been able to accomplish over time.
Right.
And I'm not talking 30 and 40 years, I'm talking 5 to 10 years. Look at what we've been able to accomplish. And the point I was seeking to make, Carl, is that we're doing that with our people. I have coined a phrase where I say we're building Nevis for us and by us.
That's correct.
And it is for me important to say we have done some work up in the complex, We're doing some work there in the village. And I will come to the public with an accurate reporting, but the last I heard, we have used over 12 contractors and over 65 different vendors on that project.
Right.
Truckers, plumbers, electrician, carpenters, masons, you name it.
Right.
Nevis. And so the money that we would have spent, that money is circulating right here.
Exactly.
So we again are seeing that it is a government that has a particular vision and that is actualizing that vision by ensuring that our people are at the center of what we're doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that to me is critically important, and it's a marked difference in approach to what we used to have when our own people were told, go sit down, you can't do the job.
That's right. That's right.
Right? So I mean, and I'm not just saying that, the evidence is there.
That's right. Evidence is there.
So you're right. A lot of people invested, but it's like when you go to the track and you back the wrong horse.
That's
so
right.
a lot of them back the wrong horse, and now they vex with the world
The Vexman, yeah.
because they were hoping to cash in. And I hope
That's right.
Nevisians understand what's happening. You know, a lot of them that are going around banging the mouth is because they placed a bet and were hoping to cash in.
That's what happened.
Right?
That's what happened.
And because the people of Nevis said, no, we are not going in that direction with you, they vex with everybody.
The Vexman.
Right?
The Vex.
So,
The Vex. And, you know, I just want to know, I mean, that call in particular, me not calling him, but he knows very well because I mean, you listen. And others that, I want to read a scripture here quickly, Mr. Brantley, because,
Sure.
you know, you see, this guy look at things from a carnal and an ungodly perspective when it comes to person being put into authority. I just want to read something quickly here to you, Mr. Brantley. And it's taken from Romans chapter 13, and just one verse. Romans 13, one verse. It says, let every soul be subjected to the governing authority. For there is no authority except from God, and the authority that exists are appointed by God. Mr. Brantley, you fit in here. The authority that exists, he said that they are appointed by God. God established with them, Mr. Brantley. And these fellows, they can jump high, they can jump low. I will say to you, Mr. Brantley, that the time will come, I don't know when, but the time will come when God will allow CCM to lose the election and NRP, win. That time will come. CCM will not stay in power, for the eternity. But I am saying, when the next election come around, we will see who God will establish. The same way, God is the one who appointed the Honorable Dr. Jew. God bless him. He was appointed by God. And the same thing applied to you, Mr. Brantley. And so when these fellows say all kind of stupidness, all kind of hogwash, you need to understand that God put you there. And do your best with what you are doing. You are doing a great job, Mr. Brantley. Keep it up. Keep focus. And we know you do that. Keep focus. And as your kind of phrase, ignore the noise. Ignore the noise and do what the Lord put you there to do. There are times, as I said, you will not able to deliver. And now what you have to say to people, well, I made this promise, but I could not deliver because of such and such. But it will be delivered. That's all. And so let me again congratulate you on a good job that you're doing. And keep doing what you're doing. And the Lord will bless you abundantly, Mr. Brantley. Good night.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you for the biblical reference, because you're right. It is God who lifts up leaders and he who put them down as well. And You're absolutely correct. We who say we believe in democracy can't on the one hand contest elections and then cost the electorate when we don't win. And the point that you're making about a lot of them who threw money, and a lot of money too, the NRP outspent the CCM by a considerable margin in the last election. And when you see you empty the tank and you still come last, it's a problem. So I hear you on that, and I am grateful that you were able to call and point out that at the end of the day, we are here because God allows us to be here. It's as simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking your calls, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and this is, of course, the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis. I want to go back to the point I was making about having confidence in our people. And to reinforce the point to this caller, that the construction activity that we're seeing, that activity at the water taxi, the reception area, the activity at the cultural village, the cultural complex, NIPAC, the activity that we're seeing at the Bath Stream, the road construction that we've seen in the main around the island, all of it has been done by us. In fact, I got a few photos of the cultural complex lit up, the new booths, which have been vastly improved from what they were, and I posted them to social media, and it warmed my heart that the mother responded to my post and said, it is my son who was the architect on that project. I want to say that again so people could understand me. I posted some photos of the cultural complex lit up, beautiful. And a mother in the community commented on those photos and said that it is her son who was the architect. You see, the point about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that mother now feels that sense of pride that her son, a son of the soil, could have been chosen by the government, and the government could have had the confidence in her son to tell her son, design that for us. And now that it has been designed and built and people are raving about it, the mother said, I am so proud of my son. Because as long as that complex is there, it will be known to one and all that it is that young man who did the design. Well, if we as a government had no confidence in our own people, we wouldn't get him to do no design for us. We would tell him, go practice. You just come home from school, learn how to drive, because you come home, you don't know what you're doing. That's what we would have told him. But this government, with this vision that we have, putting our people first, where we say people matter most, we say no, that is not how you build a country, build capacity, and build sustainability. The way you build that is to invest in your people. And so we say, young man, come. You are an architect. Design this thing for us. And he did. And everybody now ball out, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Can't believe that they Nevis. Built by us. Built for us. Our people. It cannot happen unless the government has confidence in them. You know how many people in Nevis have got into trucking, into heavy equipment as a business? You know why? Because we said we were going to give them work. We said that when we do roads and activity that involves trucking and equipment, we're going to use our local people, and so people felt empowered enough to go bank and borrow money and buy equipment. When we spend with them, that money is circulating in the local economy. I want people to understand the vision that I'm talking about. I got a call from a friend in St. Kitts. And I hope that I can mention who he is and don't cause any offense. But it's my friend from Rock and Dirt. And he doesn't even know how good he made me feel. Because you know what the call was about? He expressed his level of confidence in our team at Public Works who do the roads. His confidence in our team here in Nevis who do the paving of the roads. Danny, Buju, the whole team. And said that he wanted to develop some kind of relationship where he could work on projects with them even over in St. Kitts. And it made me feel proud because we have invested, we have said to our team in Public Works, we have confidence in you, go and do the job. And as I said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Drive through Brantley if you don't believe me. Go down Hanley's Road if you don't believe me. Go to Bath if you don't believe me. Go up Shaw's Road and Braziers if you don't believe me. We have invested in our people, shown confidence in our people, and they have risen to the occasion. The result, ladies and gentlemen, is that others are now calling on them. More than once, we have sent our paving team over to our sister St. Kitts to help out over there. When they were paving there in St. Kitts Bastille, Lord, what they call it? Is it Bank Street? My geography is not so good, the name of the streets, but where you have the circus and you're going across now that street that takes you past where the former Ballyhoo, and you go across there, which will take you to the main square there in Bastille. I believe that's Bank Street, I hope I'm right. But when they were paving that street, is Buju them went St. Kitts to assist their partners over there, their colleagues over there. When you see that we as a government have invested in our team to the point where the expertise is being asked for, even from our bigger sister St. Kitts, it speaks volumes of what we have been able to accomplish. And I'm proud of it. I'm truly proud of it. Because going back to the theme that I have embarked upon this evening in my conversations with you, that you must start with a vision. You must start with an interest, an idea. You must love people. You must want to develop people. You know this young architect who did the cultural complex and cultural village. I am not sure that I've met him. I might have, but I honestly, as I speak tonight, I'm not sure. But when I spoke to the team, and the team said that they wanted to get some plans drawn, I tell them it has to be a local architect. And based on the recommendations, we use this young man. And he has performed. And I'm hoping that when we open the village and the complex to the public, that they will see what he has been able to do. Confidence, ladies and gentlemen. And I say contrast that to a government which told their people you weren't good enough. When you come home from university, you don't know what you're doing. That I give you a road in brown pasture to go practice. You must go practice, learn how you to drive, because when you come home, you don't know what you're doing. And we took the polar opposite position and said, give our people the chance, because how are they going to develop if they don't get the opportunity? If you keep telling them go sit down in the back of the bus, how are they going to develop? And so I just want again our people to understand the philosophy of CCM, the philosophy of us in government, what we have tried to do, and to see the fruits of that. We have gone in Nevis, if I can put it this way, from a situation where none of the local people were getting any work, to a point now where what we have is the local guys arguing about who getting the most work. That's the argument now, I'm not getting enough for somebody getting more than me. But before, nobody used to get any. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good night, Honorable Mac. How you doing, my brother?
I am well, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Calling from Satola. I telling me ask you this question. A long time they used to have horse racing in Nevis.
Yes.
What become of that?
Well, the horse racing ended up stopping because we had a situation where we had a developer who claims that he would have developed the land and to produce this Amman resort. That did not materialize. And so, as a result of that, the horse race was abandoned and they were supposed to be building it elsewhere. That had not. So the track has deteriorated, it's still there, but has just not been utilized over the years. It is something, however, that we are intent on bringing back because we think it was a unique activity in Nevis.
Yeah, why I ask you a question because you know Sinkit invest in a big track in Sinkit, but seem like that ain't happen working anymore. And what I hear asking you this, you ever think about fixing up the cricket ground that you could get international game in Nevis?
That has been talked about. In fact, I could tell you that we actually had some plans developed. We had utilized the services of Michael Perkins, who's an engineer, to assist us with that. But we've had some ongoing debates, and I must confess that the government and cabinet has not come to any final decision. The reason for that is that the ETW Park, as you know, is our traditional cricket ground, and that is in the heart of Charlestown. Very little room for expansion, very little room for parking and the like. It is similar very much to the ARG in Antigua, if you've ever been to that ground, right in the heart of St. John's, in the capital. And so, in order to expand that ground, we would have needed to do certain things, take up a substantial part of the school ground, for example, acquire some property going into what was formerly Superfoods, now Best Buy, and we would have to do some real substantial work there. We were embarking on that particular journey, and then we had other suggestions. We were saying, why don't we just develop a new cricket ground someplace else, as we did with the Monroe track, for example. So there's still a debate that is happening in relation to that. And so we have not yet gone and taken a decision in relation to cricket. We do know that cricket is still being played at ETW. In fact, we have had some Leeward Islands cricket that I understand is being played there. But we have not been able to attract an international game because we have not yet made the investment. So that's a debate. In fact, I would be curious to know what your own view would be, whether you feel that we should try to work with the ETW as it is and try to develop that, or we do a brand new cricket ground someplace else.
Well, I think you should think on building your own, because it seems like majority of the talking that I always hear that I think Nevis supports cricket more than Sinkit. And also they have a lot of players come out of Nevis. So I think that way that you also think on instead of having all the games in Sinkit attract the players in Nevis also. Think on it.
No. I the point you're making is legitimate. I'm not going to argue. The point has been made quite passionately that we have excelled most as an island in cricket, because St. Kitts is now celebrating two brothers who have made the West Indies team, the Louis brothers, but these are St. Kitts' first players on the West Indies team. We put El Comido Willett on that team over 50 years ago. And we have since put, I think, what is it, seven players have made the West Indies team from Nevis. So you're right, there's a certain value that's attached to cricket on Nevis, no doubt. But as I said, we need to have a careful conversation about what we do. Whether we invest in ETW, try to expand and upgrade that with the limitations that has, being in the heart of Charleston as it is, or we go and find some land and try to build a new facility someplace else. These are the debates, and I think that, you know, we need to have some town hall meetings and get the stakeholders, the cricketers, the cricket administrators, the cricket association, and all of them would need to weigh in as to what their view would be. And then we put a project together and then say to go out and get funding to do it. But I don't deny the value of cricket to us and the need to have a proper facility for cricket at some point somewhere in the island of Nevis.
Okay, thank you. You have a pleasant night, my brother.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the call all the way from the BVI. I hope that you all are doing okay down there, that you didn't get any damage at all from Beryl, and continue to be safe during the hurricane season. Okay, brother?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're most welcome. Always interesting conversations, always needing in a small island with a small economy and a small purse to prioritize. Cricketers want their facility, the basketballers want their facility, the netballers want theirs, the tennis players want theirs, the footballers want theirs, of course, the track and field want theirs. So we understand that. Let's go back to the phones. We have about 10 minutes. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good night, Premier Brantley.
Good night to you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I know you're doing well. Okay, in spite of everything. Okay, I'm reading from Psalm 37, verse 9 to 11. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his face, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and they shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Here ended the reading of the scripture. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your scripture, as always. And I truly appreciate you and appreciate your initiative in doing that for us. I think it brings comfort to many. So thank you very much, and have a good night. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, good evening. Those brothers, the two brothers, Louis Howard, they ain't the first person from Sinkit who played cricket.
Well,
Going now, your architect had your this and that and find out who was the first player. They ain't the first person.
Caller, nobody has said that they're the first people to play cricket, you know.
From Sinkit.
Caller, listen carefully. We have not said that they're the first people to play cricket. Obviously, they're not. We are saying they're the first people from Sinkit who were selected to the West Indies team.
Them not the first.
So who else was selected to West Indies team from Sinkit before?
I said them not the first.
I mean, I ask you that, you don't say that. I ask you who?
Karen Powell born in Sinkit. Where you born? Them not the first.
Karen Powell born in Sinkit? So caller, you are an interesting caller. Well, I can't even say born in tongue because I born in my mother's house in Lippard. But that's interesting, you know. Well, you know, the Louis brothers, I was just talking to somebody at the weekend and they say, well, if everybody gonna be making noise, they played a lot of their cricket in Nevis too. So I don't know. I don't know that Karen Powell is born in Sinkit, but even if he was, I believe that he has always played for Nevis and has been identified, grew up in Nevis, and was seen as a Nevisian selection to the West Indies team. I don't think anybody would argue that. And clearly, people have played cricket before the Louis brothers. Sinkit has produced some incredible cricketers over the years, but they are the first two who have made it to the West Indies team, been selected. And caller, I think it's significant and historic that Sinkit would have had two at once and brothers at that. I think that that's really incredible. You hear about Ian Chappell and Greg Chappell. You hear about Steve War and what the other one called, whatever the other War brother was called, Mark War and Steve War. But it is rare in international cricket to have two brothers in the team. My only regret is that both were not able to play in the test at Lords. But I want to commend Mikhail because the West Indies failed badly in their first innings, but he still top scored, and I think that that's important. He got 27 if I read the results properly, and that was the top score for the West Indies in a very low score of only I think 123 or something like that. So I'm hopeful that he gets a ton of runs up there and he cements his place in the West Indies team, and that his brother gets a try and gets into the wickets as well. So we're proud of them and we're hoping that they go forward, but I believe the record books caller will show that they were the first two from Sinkits to make the West Indies team. As the show is coming to a close, let me extend both the greetings to our Governor General, Dame Marcella Liebert. She would have celebrated her birthday today. I would have privately sent her congratulations and birthday greetings, but I join now the others in sending that to her publicly. I believe that since she has been Governor General, she has conducted herself in an amazing way, in a very elegant and genteel manner. She has been, I believe, taken to the office in a way that really brings tremendous credit to the office, and I like that we're seeing from her, perhaps because she was a former politician, but we're seeing some activism. So for example, she has championed the music and the development of a national symphony, she has indicated, and she has worked towards that. And I recently went to an event at the Marriott where the best, absolute best in talent from St. Kitts and Nevis was on display. So I want to say happy birthday to our Governor General, and I hope that the public will join me in wishing her many, many more birthdays, many years of good health and happiness. So Dame Marcella Liebert, our Gigi, if you're listening, happy birthday to you, and I wish you all the very best. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a good note to say goodbye. The band is striking up 9:59, so we gotta go. That's the way it works. I want to say thank you to all those who called, those who listened, those who were part of the show this evening, and to say to those who are coming home, travel safely. I know some of you are already here, some are making your way here. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to welcoming you home. I want you to know that you are in a vision and that Nevis belongs to you. God bless you and keep you. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here at Von Radio. So for all of you who missed it, please join us tomorrow so that you can hear it again. The clock has struck 10. It means it's time to go. Thank you, good night, and God bless you.
And opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited.